Okay, what do you say, Kathryn? Are we, why don't we go ahead and start the introductions in any case, and then we'll dive into the program. Thanks everybody for joining us this morning for a training on Housing Search RI and in particular the Safe Search tools and things like that. I'm Amy Raynone, Director of Government Relations at Rhode Island Housing. And I'm joined here today by Katie Michaud on our voucher program, and Lauren Richards, who works with me on the legislative side, and Kathryn Davies, who is with Emphasys, which operates Housing Search RI and has for us for a number of years now. And she's going to basically walk through the features of the site and how you can use it, and in particular, how to be able to use those safe searches to help clients find housing in Rhode Island. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kathryn. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Good morning, everybody. I am actually typing my email address in the chat right now just to get us started. That way everyone will have my contact information. Just a couple quick housekeeping things. I am going to share my screen here in just a moment, and we will go ahead and walk through Housing Search RI. If you do have questions at any point, please use the chat feature and I will do my best to address them as they come in. If there's a need to revisit anything, anything that you're interested in more detail, please feel free to use the email address that I just put in the chat and reach out to me directly, and we can schedule some time to go back over anything if you joined late, whatever the case. And we will get all of your questions answered. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Perfect. Okay. All right, housing team, can somebody just give me a thumbs up that we can see my screen? Perfect.
Yep.
All right, so Emphasys Housing Locator has been partnered with RI Housing since 2008 to have this resource available for anyone seeking housing in Rhode Island. There are currently 930 different property providers that represent over 19,000 units across the state that are advertised on this resource. We're going to go over today how to conduct a search, as you would do if, I know a lot of you guys are service providers, so maybe you're working directly with those that are seeking affordable and accessible housing, or just in some cases we're looking for ourselves even, right? So just going through to see the different tools that are available, and then we are going to look at the Safe Search feature in particular. Couple things that I want to point out right away about Housing Search RI is that this does have market rate properties, right? So we can come here to the left of the screen and only search affordable and accessible properties, or we can go here, which is going to include market rate and also include affordable and accessible. So this will include everything. We're going to use this for the purposes of today. The other thing I want to point out here is that we do have state-specific resources here at the bottom. You guys are, of course, encouraged to use these resources, but our call center uses these as well. So we do have a call center that supports, of course, our property providers, but that also supports folks that are looking for housing, that need some additional assistance, or that are looking for resources in addition to or separate from housing. Speaking of the call center, the phone number is right here at the bottom. But this is a call center that we operate 11 hours a day, 5 days a week. if you guys are ever needing assistance, I would encourage you to reach out to me, directly. But this call center is available for you as well, and it is certainly available for clients that you may be assisting with housing.
Kathryn, we had
So
somebody on the chat mention that they can't hear you. Can we just get a thumbs up from folks if you can hear Kathryn? Okay, yeah, so I think it might be the person who can't hear. It might be a local issue. Thank you very much,
okay,
everyone. Go
sure.
ahead, keep going.
Yeah. If that, to whomever that was, if that continues to be an issue, and thank you, Amy, for monitoring the chat. If that continues to be an issue, just reach out to me separately and we can schedule another time to go over everything when we can get that resolved for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump right into a search. So I'm going to search within the affordable category. I'm going to come down here. So you can just go ahead and use this and enter a city, county, or a zip code. Or if you scroll down here, it's going to have all the major metropolitan areas at the top and in bold in each of the sections. So it just makes it a little bit easier to navigate that way. I'm
Kathryn,
going to,
you have a hand up. Scott, did you want to take them as you go?
sure.
Scott Marcel?
Um, so actually, I don't think he's going to be able, I think I have their microphones disabled, so he won't be able to talk,
So
but he can.
should people put questions into the chat if they have a question?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. That would be
Okay, so
great.
folks have questions, just drop them into the chat. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a search in Kent County. So just want to point out a couple of things here. So this is going to be your super basic search, right? So this is going to be pretty limited to the rental range, the number of bedrooms. It's always going to have whether or not there's rental assistance that you want included in your search, and then just some really basics here. You can tab over to advanced. This is going to add a search by distance. It'll add some additional filters here as well. I really like the search by distance because a lot of times, especially if you work for any type of support agency, a lot of times people do need to be close to a certain place, whether it's for medical reasons, mental health provider, whatever that looks like. They don't, or even if it's just that they need to live in close proximity to their employer. So we can use this to ensure that all of the results that populate are within whatever distance of that particular address. And then just some additional search filters here. And then finally, we can tab over to our accessibility features, which are just enhanced features in addition to all the other filters that we had from the other tabs. Okay, so we'll just go back to basic for the purposes of this. Actually, we'll do accessible. So I'm going to select that I want no stairs, right? So I want a unit on the first floor. And I'm going to exclude senior housing just for the purpose of this example. So that way, if I'm working with someone who's not over, a certain age that would qualify for that, those results will be excluded from the search. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and search for properties. So this is just important to point out this scam overlay, we call it. So this just alerts and kind of reminds searchers to just be vigilant. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Everywhere on HousingSearchRI is the option to report a listing if ever something seems like it needs additional attention from our call center. So that's what that guy is. And then these are going to be my results. So I can go ahead and click full listing, and it's going to give me some additional information about this property. Really helpful. I can see right away that this property is on a wait list. So that would determine, how I interact with this listing. If I want to go ahead and contact the property provider for more information about that, I do have that contact information right here. And then it's going to break down whether or not this is a tax credit property, whether or not it's seniors only, all of this additional information here. And then in some cases, not all of our property providers use it, but in some cases, you will see in the comment section a link to the online application. So definitely look for that in the comment section as well. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys one more function of the search tool, and then we'll go ahead and discuss the saved search feature. So if we come back and check the chat really quick. Okay, perfect. Okay, so if we come back to the home page, another way that we could go about a search is with the affordability calculator up here at the top. I really like this because it can be overwhelming for folks to just return results within any income range, which may be well, above or below what they're looking for. And it just obviously can overwhelm. And then also too, sometimes people don't understand what they can afford. So the affordability calculator will show them exactly those results. So I'm going to select Newport. And then I'm going to come here and, for example, say that I make $23 an hour and that I do have a voucher. And I'll just leave the bedroom filter alone so it can populate all the results. And when I select go, it's going to give me a breakdown of what I can afford, right? So I have that information, but also if I click here, I can see what's available only that meets 30% or less of my gross monthly income and accepts vouchers. Right, so once I select this, I have only these results. So there are, of course, less results, but in this case, I think, that's a good thing because we're not looking at, 100 and some odd results with only 12 of them specific to what we can afford, right? So if I want to save this search because I'm looking for housing within this criteria, or let's say I'm a service provider and I'm working with a group of people that have a specific need or a specific client, whatever the case, and I want to be alerted anytime a new property is advertised that fits this criteria, or anytime there's a change to a property. So if a property's rented, it'll notify me when it becomes available. I would select save this search, right? But I'm going to back up a little bit before we do that and show you guys how to create an account. Because if you don't already have one, you will need an account on HousingSearchRI to be able to save a search, because it's going to send you an email notification. So to do that, we select login at the top, or you can go ahead and select save this search and it will prompt you to create an account. But if we select log in, let's see, hopefully it doesn't just log me in. It might, oh, it didn't. Okay. So we'll come down here and we'll select need a search account or need a search notification account, right? So we'll select that. It's going to prompt you just to complete this basic information, and then you'll go ahead and register. So let me show you guys that again, because I know it can be a little tricky to locate everything. So and even on the home page, you can do this from anywhere, right? We go ahead and select log in, and then right here, need a search notification account. Need an account to list properties is what our property providers select. And then right here, we do have a how-to if this becomes, if anyone needs a little bit more information on walking them through how to create an account for either purpose. So let's go back to our search results. Actually, I'll go ahead and log in so I can show us. How to save search. Okay. So now I'm logged in. So this looks a little bit different for me because I have certain administrative. Like I can see rented listings and things that your view will be just a little bit different when you create an account, but the search functionality is the same. And we will go ahead and select save your search. Let's see, can we apply for housing on behalf of a client with our account, or does the housing need to be applied for by the person seeking housing? I am going to say that that's a case by case. So sorry, I may have read that a little quickly. The question was if you can, as a service provider, if you can create an account and apply for housing on behalf of your clients. It would need to be their information. So I think that might get a little bit tricky. I don't know that we really have a best practice for that though. So that just seems like a judgment call and using best judgment for the person that you're working with. I think there are certain populations that that's probably the only way they would be able to go about it. So that seems case by case to me. I would use their information to apply with my account. Right. Yeah, the only issue I could see there potentially is when you work with other clients in the future, you would maybe have to create a separate account and you do need a unique email address. I can actually see talk to our call center and see if this is something that they're familiar with in terms of other providers doing that. See if I can get us a little bit more guidance there, Chris. Good question. Okay, so we've clicked on save our search. And what we can do here is name the search. I have search example, but if we're working with a particular group, anything that makes sense for you to understand what this is. I also would put in here, because it's going to be repetitive right here of what your search parameters were, but you can put, Newport, Section 8, 23 hourly, right? So we can put whatever we want so that we know what this pertains to. And then click here to continue. And we will just get confirmation that that has been saved. I do have a search pulled up just from my other examples. So when you, and I don't have this named, otherwise it would have, referred to whatever I named my search. So this is an email that I received based on these parameters, right? So it's in Palm Beach County, Florida. It's up to 1,800. So now this is going to take us to, obviously not Rhode Island, but this is one of our partners in Florida. So if I click right from my email, it's going to take me right into that listing that I got the notification about it being added. So this also allows us to act quickly, especially on behalf of our clients, right? So I can see that this listing was updated really recently. And because I've gotten this notification and I can see that it's available, I'll be able to call this on-site contact, confirm that it's still available, and kind of, begin that process. Let's see. Okay, and this comment section again is where sometimes there's the link to the online application, but that's a newer feature that we've rolled out. So not every property provider is using that, but there's usually additional information here at the bottom. So that is the saved search feature. If anyone would like to see that again, I'm happy to go back over that, or RI Housing team, if there's anything else that you wanted me to cover in a little bit more detail, I'm happy to do that as well. Chris, I will follow up with you separately on your question. And then also if anyone has any colleagues that were unable to attend today. Okay, Michelle wants us to go over the safe search again. Perfect, we can do that. Anyone that was unable to attend today, I'm happy to meet with them, kind of go back over this or answer any questions. So
Catherine, quick
let's,
question. If you're a provider that's working with a number of people, could you set up multiple saved searches with those people's names, for instance? So if you're like
absolutely.
working with three different
Yep.
people, you could name the search those different names and the emails would come to you, but would they basically say that you're getting emailed for this person whose name you put on this particular saved search? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly. And it would, in my example, unfortunately, I didn't name this search, so it just has this, because that's the criteria. Whereas if I had named it, it would have said, trying to find one that I named. But so if I'm working with Lauren, right, and that's my client, and this is my search for Lauren, it would have her name in here. Um, because it's going to show the name of the search, whatever you decided to call it. And you can have multiple, you can remove them at any time, you can edit them. If we go to our search notification dashboard, this is where I'm able to view all of the listings that match this. So I'm not just looking at, whatever the most recent listing is that was sent to me. I'm looking at all of the results. I can disable it so I don't, I can revisit this later, but I'm not needing this right now. Or I can altogether delete it. Okay, do these searches show when a unit is available, or is it just to put a client on a long wait list? So that's something that's going to be specific to the property. So the properties are responsible for managing their wait list. So kind of a hard question to answer. But ideally, when you're getting that save search notification, it's because the property was either very recently added or it had a status change. And that status change, it's not going to alert you when something goes from available to rented or from available to waitlisted, right? So if you're getting that notification, it's because it's a brand new property, or it has just come off of a wait list, or it has just come out of a lease. So that's kind of what makes this hopefully a little bit more efficient in that instance. The other question we got, would each person you are working with require their own email, or can I use my email for multiple clients? Um, if you're asking about creating an account, it does, just in general, it does need a unique email. However, if you're asking about saved searches, you can have multiple unlimited saved searches that are tied to your account, which is just that one email, if that makes sense. So that was Amy's question. If I'm working with 10 different clients individually, I can have 10 separate searches because they may be all over the state, or they may be in different zip codes within a certain county. And then, of course, have different criteria of affordability and accessibility. So you can set up multiple searches under one email address. That's a good question. Okay, so we'll go back to Michelle, who wants to revisit the Safe Search. So, and just in general, good idea, Michelle, for anyone that joined late. So we'll go to search properties right here under the affordable selection. We will go to, I think our example was Newport. And what did we say here? I think we just said, oh, this was a search we did from the affordability calculator, but that's fine. We'll just go here. Okay, search properties. So now I'm in my results. Oh, thank you, Amy, for that question. There was a question about what's considered affordable. Affordable means deed restricted properties, could be a range of affordability, but for rental housing, it's typically 80% of AMI. Okay. So if we're going to save our search, again, just a reminder, we do have to have an account and we do have to be logged in order to save our search. So I am going to log out just for the purpose of this example. Okay, and we can either select login at the top, and we would say need a search notification account. And then we could also click save this search right here, and it will prompt us to create an account, or it'll prompt us to log in if we already have one. So I'm going to log in. It went ahead and saved that search for me. But let's back up and, okay. So we'll select save this search. And this is where we can put client's name, whatever we want to use this for, that's going to help us separate these without having to just to know that this criteria pertains to a specific individual, right? So this is where we can do that. And you can also, I mean, the system is going to generate the notes here based on the search criteria, but you can, of course, edit this as well. And then we will click here to continue. It's going to confirm that this has been added. And then we can also go here. Oh, this is not the page that I was trying to go to, but this is fine. So this lets us know what we have in our saved searches, but you can also, when you receive the email, from the email, you can go to your search notification dashboard. And that's where you can disable all, disable everything if you no longer need any of these, view all of the search results, just kind of silence notifications for however long, or altogether delete them.
Kathryn, how do you access the that page, the sort of search notifications to edit them from Rhode Island Housing's page?
Sure. The best way to do that is going to be from the notification dashboard link that you'll receive in your email. But the other way, 1 second, this is in my way here. Okay. The other way is not going to let me. Okay. Click here to continue. Do a search example. Okay, I already saved this one, so just do this. Let me do a different one because it's not liking this example since we already did it. Just do a different search. Let's see. Okay, save our search. I call this Kent County search. Click to continue to save it. And then when we do that, that's where we'll be able to go to the Save Search Management page, where we can see everything that we have. So I can delete that one, or I can go back. Oops, that's not what I want. My account's a little bit tricky than anyone else's because I have my admin, so I have different functionality than you guys do when you log in. So okay, can you sort by private landlord instead of complex? I don't believe that that's a good question. I don't believe that we have the ability to sort by private owner. You can select the building name for complex if you are looking for a specific complex, but just in terms of only looking at listings that are, from landlords, private owners instead of management companies or apartment complexes, we don't have that ability. Let's see. Oh, so this is a good question that Karen's asking. Where do listings come from? How are they entered in the system? Great question. So there's a number of ways, but we do have private owners, management companies that are able to come to Housing Search RI, select list property. I'm going to log out actually so I can show you what that process looks like. So if I'm a property provider, I would create a new account to be able to add my listings. And then what happens after we receive this, which is a request, to create an account to list properties, everyone is vetted by our call center. So our call center reaches out, verifies that this is a real person, and then verifies that they are the owner or appropriate representative of that property that they're trying to list. And then from there, that populates the login for them, and they're able to add their properties. RI Housing is also able to add portfolio properties, properties that are managed by different PHAs across the state. So there's a number of ways, but the majority of the folks that I mentioned at the beginning of the call, the 930 property providers that are listing their properties on Housing Search RI have created an account that has been vetted and are actively adding and managing their properties. So they have, the property providers have sort of a separate dashboard where they log in and manage all of that. They do so with help from us. The call center also conducts outreach regularly on properties that haven't logged in a certain amount of time, or properties that have not had any type of change in status for a period of time, just to make sure that everything is accurate and refreshed. Okay. Katie answered that. Thank you. This is a good question. Is there something in the system for when people are searching that flags if the landlord is charging rental application fees and or junk fees? As in, is this in the section of things to look for? So that is something that you can search by application fees. But anything, of course, that is, seems out of the ordinary or problematic or just an outright scam. Every listing has the report feature on the listing page. And so you're able to report any property that seems like it just needs us to have additional eyes on it. And we have a team internally that addresses those immediately. So good question. Okay. Can you please say again how many property owners and how many properties roughly are listed through Housing Search RI? So I looked this morning before our call, and there are 931 to be exact. Different property providers. And that again is a mix of private landlords, property management companies, and also PHAs that manage housing would be included in that. And also looking this morning, currently there are 19,551 units. That represents available, waitlisted, and rented units as well. Okay. Landlords are not allowed to charge rental obligation. Oh, okay. Yes, that is some good education for me, Megan. Thank you. And that is something that I will absolutely make our call center aware of, because it seems like us doing some due diligence there would be helpful to searchers. So that's a good point. I am going to like your comment so that I can flag it for myself. Um, Paula had a question above about properties with long wait lists appearing on searches. Yes, so when we're searching for properties, there is a way within the search results to hide, display or hide waitlisted properties. So it's going to default to display, but you can select hide, and that will exclude them from your search results. I have the ability, let's see, I think it's under advanced. Oh, I'm not logged in. Okay. I was going to say, I have the ability as an admin to search rented listings. You guys don't have that though, so you won't have to worry about those ever appearing in search results. So it's just going to be available and waitlisted unless you hide waitlisted, and then it will be just available. Is there a way to flag if a listing is incorrect or not responsive to inquiries? Yes. So feel free to reach out to me. We do have a team internally. If you're having a specific issue or a recurring issue with a particular property, and sometimes that can be because the on-site contact person has changed, and the property provider hasn't updated that for whatever reason. So definitely flag that, and feel free to send to me directly, but you can also just report the listing. So if we're on, let me just show you guys where that is. So we'll go to full listing. So if we go down here to the bottom, we can select report listing, and that will alert our internal team and our call center. And they'll be, you'll have the ability to be specific about what you're reporting. So if it's just, oh, they're still charging an application fee, as Megan added, or just, hey, I've called this property several times, it says available, no one's responding, you can flag that there as well. I'm happy to email you. Okay. I think we've gotten everyone in the chat. But again, my email address is up at the top of our chat. It's kdavies@emphasyssoftware.com. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions that you have, anything that you're wanting to go over in more detail, or if any of your colleagues missed our call today and you wanted them to revisit anything, feel free to reach out. Amy, did you have anything else for us?
Kathryn, maybe you could drop your email in again into the chat for people who jumped on
Yeah.
later on and don't have can't see the original
Oh,
email.
Cheryl, great question, and I should have addressed that first. So there is no cost. It's completely free. HousingSearchRI is completely free to use. It is also free to property providers to list. So we want everyone to be encouraged to utilize this resource without any barriers. So great question. Here again is my email address. It's gotten, I think, buried at this point. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add, Kathryn, is one of the reasons we thought it would be helpful to do this training right now is that there are actually a fair number of properties that are starting to come online. There were a number of resources that were made available during COVID that helped to support the development of affordable housing. So we do have a pipeline of developments that are in the process of um, being constructed now and coming online. So it's a great opportunity with those saved search tools to be able to get that notification if there's a development that maybe will have a very long wait list at some point, but when it's first coming online, there's a opportunity to get in sort of at the front of the door there with an early listing. So hoping that this will be helpful for folks. And there were a couple more questions that came on, Kathryn.
Okay. I may, just in the interest of time, I may have to visit with folks individually. Michelle, where did the listings come from? How are they entered in the system? And then some of the properties listed indicate that there would be a fee for the applicant when they apply. Yes, Erica, good question. Good, you're right to flag that. We, as someone else brought up in the chat earlier about the application fees changing in Rhode Island, this is something because of this call that I've flagged for myself. So our team internally is going to go ahead and look at that, and I'll follow up with RI Housing. But we can do oh no, Erica, you're fine. That's a great question because people have been coming in at different times. So, but we will look at a campaign internally to get those removed, make sure that property providers are aware that that's not allowed, and just have that awareness to maintain that going forward. I want to go back to Michelle's question. Where do listings come from? So, Michelle, you and I can talk offline about that a little bit more if you're interested, but property providers just create an account. They need to register. That's verified by our call center to determine A, that it's a real person or management company, and then B, that the properties that they're trying to list are legitimately owned or managed by the person that's creating the account. And then once that account has been created and approved, they are able to add their properties. And they have a separate dashboard to do that. They have support from our team internally and from our call center as needed. And then we do send system generated reminders as well as proactively reaching out to them if they haven't logged in after a certain period of time or made changes to the property, just to ensure that everything is current.
I would also actually add on the affordable side, we do require all Rhode Island housing finance developments are required to list their units on the site. So that's where a lot of those affordable developments come from. They are required to list their properties as they are leasing up.
There's another, oh, I think this was addressing an earlier question about creating an account. And I do realize we're at time, so feel free to jump off and if you need to, and thank you for attending. But I'll just continue for a second here to answer these questions. So many times it is necessary to create an account for the social worker instead of the client. Yep, totally agree. That's a great comment, Carmen. And in creating an account, so if you as a social worker are just going to have your account, right, that's attached to your email address. But if you're working with multiple clients, which of course you are, you can set up a search for each individual client. You can name the search the name of the client, however it is you want to identify that person, and then have that criteria that's specific to them. There was, though, an earlier question about creating an account to apply for housing on behalf of a client. And that I would just default to your agency and kind of best practices there. But I do realize that, of course, there are times in certain individuals that you're working with where that would be necessary. So that's just discretionary for you, but you can only have one email address for one account. So if you're creating multiple accounts, you would need separate email addresses for that. Okay, I think that is all of our questions. I'm starting to get some emails from you guys, so that's great. Definitely feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any additional questions.
I think are we putting this on our website, Amy?
I think we will be putting up the recording on the website. So we'll send out a message to folks that signed up for the training afterwards. So I think that is the goal. So this is a recorded training. I think the goal was to get it posted up on the website, and we can notify folks of that.
Perfect. All right, awesome. Well, thank you, RI Housing team, and thank you everyone for attending. Hope everyone has a great rest of their week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.